Hello, my name is Lola, and I'm going to be reacting to The Painful World of Lego Games by Caddicarus. This was recommended to me by Isaiah Witkowski. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Anyway, if you want to like, comment, subscribe to my channel, you can, or if you don't want to, that's fine too. And this was for fun. Here we go. Yeah, the bricks.
Bournemouth's golden sands disappeared under gigantic crowds.
Oh, come on! Where did you go, Bricks? We need you now more than ever! Have you seen these people? Everyone there needs to be bricked in right now!
Why?
Well, you know what? If those bricks aren't going to come back to me, then I'm going to have an affair with some other bricks, but... God, there's so many. I mean, which bricks do I call? Hello?
Caddy, my old friend!
Oh, Diddle! It's my evil twin brother, Baddie!
I have waited.
Really? Oh, gee, thanks. Say, when did you become a postman? Oh, he's gone.
What? How? What?
What the hell is this?
It's your misplaced. Jesus!
Get out!
Okay.
Oh.
What?
My name isn't Jim Taddock. Mamma mia!
Aw, that looks so cool!
Yahoo!
What?
You know, there are some things in life that you still love no matter how much they sell out. Spyro the Dragon, Doritos, Patrick Stewart. And for me, Lego is definitely one of those things. I mean, look, at this point, Lego has absorbed everything around it, from Star Wars to Disney to SpongeBob to Batman to Golden Girls to Lunchable. Lego itself as a concept is one that I've always admired, and the sheer amount of innocence and character the brand oozes with has charmed me ever since I was a kid, even until today. It's so simple yet so effective. You get a load of bricks of different shapes, styles, and colours, then mash them together into a monster. Even if you got a specific set that had instructions to follow, you still got the pieces in order to mix and match them with all of your other sets. It's a toy for collectors, a toy for model builders, a toy for creative people who want to make whatever they want, and a toy for anybody of any age. Except if you're a baby, because you will choke and you will die. I mean, just look at how far it's come. At first it was just, make a yellow man, put him in the car, and don't have enough bricks for a house, so yellow man lives in the car. Oh no, my little brother Tim ate my yellow man. Gotta wait for him to poop it out. But now you can make gargantuan themed sets based on your favorite movies and your favorite games. Overwatch, Minecraft, and nowadays even Mario. Lego can now be turned on and off. It can suck your soul into the abyss. It can talk.
I'm tired.
It can scan different surfaces to make different things happen. It needs a Bluetooth connection. Lego can die. And it needs to update. Why does my Lego need to update? It's plastic! Either way, a few weeks ago, I was lucky enough to have been sent some of the brand new Mario Lego sets by Lego themselves, so thank you so much for doing that. And not only was it a cool present on its own, but it also gave me a great idea for another video. Mario is a game. Lego is Lego. Lego alligators. And I have a lot of these things. In fact, back in the ancient history of my channel, the 6th game review I ever did was actually of Lego Racers. But like every other old video of mine,
It's time to get real. Behind the wheel.
I wish it never happened. And I've got to go back and review a PS1 game that I've already reviewed all over again. So do you know what that means?
I'm bitter.
Oh, this opening, it still gives me nostalgic chills. If you want me to feel like a kid again, you show me this intro. I don't know why you'd want me to feel like a kid again. We then get shown a high-octane cutscene that, again, takes me right back to my childhood when I first laid eyes on this game and thought it looked like the coolest and most exciting thing ever. Especially when the PS1 graphics and FMV worked really well with Lego, since most of the PS1's attempts of making real-life people ended up looking like Lego anyway. And then, silence. But the silence is for a good reason. so that when the main menu eventually loads, the music catches you so off guard that it kicks you hard in the balls.
I was protected this time.
And let's be real, the game itself kicks you hard everywhere else with the amount of stuff you get to play with right off the bat. For a game about Lego pieces going to the races, this is one of the most comprehensive toy boxes for creating your own cars and characters to play with of all time. And this is a PS1 game from 1999. Now, since I have no imagination, I decided to make a character comprised of the ugliest choices in each section of the body. Perfect. I'll name him Uncle Dip. And let me just say, this uncle is ready for a dip. But what kind of car does he drive? Well, that's easy. Welcome to the Dipmobile. Yes, amazingly, when it comes to creating all of your cars, if you have enough space on the body that you chose and the bricks fit, you can drive it. Which is not only impressive, but also means this is the only kids kart racer that allows you to drive in a medieval coffin with a spoiler. I mean, sure, you can't see Uncle Dip inside of his own car, but by doing that, I think I've done the world a favour. So as you can see, this is a pretty standard kart racing game. You've got multiple races against you, tons of tracks based off of themed Lego sets of the time, power-ups to pick up and use, shortcuts to discover by solving puzzles on the track or blowing them up with rockets, and you have to try your hardest to get to first place in each Grand Prix so that you can gloat.
Teabag your mum!
The major problem I have with Lego Races, though, is how it controls. I've got to be honest, it doesn't feel that great to play nowadays. The speed is fine, but the turning is some of the heaviest and most awkward I've ever touched. And trust me, I know what you're about to say. It looks obvious why my turning is heavy, doesn't it? But even though the customization aspect may be one of the best bits of the game, from my experimentation, it doesn't make a single difference to the handling of your cars. Nope, not even with the special car bricks you can unlock by coming first in the boss race Grand Prix against classic Lego characters like Captain Redbeard, Johnny Thunder, Basil the Batlord, and Mr. Race Complications. I even made a special car that was completely naked because that's what Uncle Dip likes, and it was just as heavy, but nowhere near as funny as a giant yellow cube.
Oh, and I know you're all going to mention the tight turning on the shoulder buttons, but if you're going to defend this game with that, then you're a bit of a
knob. The thing is, though, everything else around these floors are so charming and uplifting, I can't be angry with Lego Racers. Even the music is completely insane. I also really love the power-up system in this game. You see, you don't just pick a power-up and use it. I mean, you can do that, but here's what you should really be doing. Firstly, you have to grab a different coloured brick to get a different type of power-up. A drop item, shield item, offensive item, and boost item, respectively. And then you can choose to either use it immediately or save it while collecting special white bricks on top of the current power-up brick that you have to make it more powerful, with 3 white bricks making it max power. You can destroy everybody in front of you, or open a literal dimensional rift to teleport ahead of the track. It's really cool stuff, and with all the other racers stealing the best power bricks that you need, it's not that easy to spam overpowered abilities, adding a nice bit of thought behind you using the low-powered attacks more frequently to get ahead, or just hoping that you get lucky and saving the more powerful ones for later.
And then you remember that there's no 4-player mode. In late 1999, with Crash Team Racing already existing on the same system.
Up next, we've got another game on the PS1, Lego Rock Raid Shadow Legends!
Hello, I'm Spons! Look at your phone, isn't it boring and terrible? Well, why don't you put some bang in it right now and download Raid Shadow Legends in the description below. The hit dark fantasy RPG that's also available on PC that no one's ever heard of before.
Raid has 16 different factions all warring with each other because...
I'm not gonna tell you, get the game and find out yourself!
Dwarves, orcs, person, you want it, Raid has it. My favourite faction are the Dark Elves, simply because in my opinion they look the coolest, just like me. Plus they're part of the faction group known as the Corrupted, just like me. Not only that, but my favourite champion is also in this faction, Crimson Helm. I got her early on when I started playing a few months back, and no one else has topped her.
I mean, look at her!
But there are dozens and dozens of other champions to attach to in every faction, with different levels of rarity, and all with incredible designs that are showed off with some of the best graphics and smoothest frame rates on a mobile game. There's a lot more I love about the game other than the visuals, though. I love the lengthy campaign with cutscenes and tricky bosses, and the turn-based gameplay itself that requires a fair bit of thought thanks to buffs each of your champions can give each other, and long cooldown special attacks that affect different weaknesses against your enemies. And I get a massive kick out of collecting things on the ground and useless people to then destroy and then merge into the current heroes that I already am using.
Plus, since most of my life is spent being busy making videos, I mean, just look at how busy I am. My favourite feature is the automatic battle system, which allows me to get on with my life while also ending other people's lives.
Even better, within the last few weeks, they've added in tons of updates, making it no better time to sign up. You can now collect segments of champions to summon some of the best champions of the game, and the daily login rewards are now up to 270 days, with free champions for you just for logging in.
Speaking of logging in, do it in the description right now! And you get a welcome pack full of 100,000 silver,
1 energy refill, 3 ancient shards,
and 1 free champion. For the next 30 days, they've even got inbox rewards that you can open right now. Oh, and did I mention, it's free?
Lego Rock Raiders, another PS1 game, and one that I haven't played until this video. Kids tested, kids approved. Yeah, well, the kids also like shitting their pants, so that doesn't mean anything. Oh, interesting. We get to pick a mission here. Let's see. Awesome. So the story of Rock Raiders is that you are a rescue team that raids rocks, I suppose, and one day, unfortunately, the teapot pad lies on the other side of an underground river, so off we go to save the miserable brown day. I was taken aback by this mission select though. You essentially can pick what you want to do in any order you want in order to unlock the final level. It's basically Mega Man, but instead of looking blocky, it is blocky. And here is the game. Okay, what the hell am I supposed to be doing here? You are given no indication on how to play or what's even going on, so all I can do right now is walk around forever, wondering why even though I picked a guy with hair, I'm now all of a sudden bald. So is this a strategy game or something? What's with this unsettling top-down view? Whoa, I can jump! Holy bees, I can jump! So that must mean that this isn't a strategy game because I can move and jump? What's going on here? Apparently I need to find some rocks to power this thing. Gotcha. Are there any over here? No. Are there any over here? No. Are there any over here? No. What? You see these scorpions here? They hurt you, and you can pick up weapons to attack them. But the funny thing about that is don't bother, because by the time you're even able to aim properly at these things, you've lost all your ammo, and you've taken around 4 or 5 hits extra trying to kill them because of how fast they move. Wait, what am I doing here? Am I lip flapping on the walls? I still have no clue what I'm doing. The R1 button gives us a scanning view at least, but why are these rocks a slightly lighter green than these other rocks? Is this a glitch? I don't know anymore. Maybe if I lip flap nice and hard against those parts, something funny's gonna happen. Oh, I can break them! Oh, well, thanks for letting me know, Lego cock blockers. How the hell was I supposed to figure that out? There's no indication you're even doing anything, not even a sound effect. And my god, do you want to see how long it actually took for me to break one of these walls?
Come on, man, really?
Yes, they expected you to figure out, without any sound effects or anything, to stand there and hold one button for that long to progress. And what are you rewarded with after that tiresome bore? A drunk driving ban! Let's try another mission then, see if it's any different. Oh, look at that. It isn't. Oh, okay, now there's a sound effect? That would have been nice to hear 3 days ago. Oh, whoa, look at this. We've got some water over here. Should we jump into it? I want to see what happens.
What the?
Yeah, next mission. And this mission sees us stuck with a very tight time limit while having to dig through multiple rock walls that all take 15 seconds each to dig through. And most of them don't lead to anything that I actually need, wasting a huge chunk of my minuscule time limit. Mission aborted, yeah? Well, this game will be if it keeps pissing me off! Next mission then, and it's more of exactly the same, except now, after spending 2 minutes standing still and digging, I ended up making a loop back around to the start of the level, which didn't help me at all. I'm sorry, I can't keep going on with this. Lego Rock Raiders is one of the most thoroughly joyless and confusing messes I've ever played. And why do I even need to go out and collect rocks to power this bloody thing? We're underground in a cavern! We're in rocks! They're everywhere! Why can't I use these rocks that chip off from my drill? And how can these guys call themselves Rock Raiders when they can't even raid rocks without the rocks that they already needed to have raided?
I'm not even kidding when I say that around 70% of my recorded footage from this game was me standing still, holding one button. And the most baffling thing to me is that I remember having a friend back in school when I was like 6 years old who had this game, and every day he would not shut up about how much he loved it.
Well, then your friend is stupid.
What were your parents feeding you?
Maybe we should jump up a generation to the original Xbox and see if things get any better. Who here remembers Bionicle? I don't. Okay, that's a lie. I do remember Bionicle, and when those first iconic sets launched, I was just the right age where it seemed like the more mature and grown-up alternative to a Lego schoolboy with an old smelly hat.
Bionicle, surrender or run.
It even had a giant story with character arcs and lore. You see, you've got these elemental warriors that have to save the world from Gaddafi? Okay, I really don't know anything about Bionicle, and to be honest, as a kid, I stopped collecting the sets once they started looking like skinned chickens, and their names were stupid as well. I mean, why would you call your toy line Bollock? The game boots up, we get the classic Lego logo on the screen, and I'm immediately irked by this singular rogue pixel up here. If you can't even clean up a shitty JPEG, you probably can't make a video game. Now, there is something that I love about Bionicle the game right from the start. This character selection screen got a laugh out of me, whether intentional or not. You start off on this guy with intense drums in the background, idle animations of the character ready to go, and then you swap to another character and...
Wow.
Oh, it's funny, shut up.
I've never seen a disappointed robot before. But that is a disappointed robot. Anyway, we start the actual game off and we get a cutscene talking about...
And the great being sent us the Toa, only the mighty Toa.
Tar?
It's chasing me! You have to stop it!
What's that noise?
Well, gee, I don't know.
And then all of a sudden, we're attacked by every Lego brick's worst nightmare. Wasps! Yeah, like I said, I know nothing about Bionicle, but I do know a few things about games, so what's this one like? Well, Bionicle is a Zelda-esque action platformer with combat centered on a locking system with projectile firing. And my god, the game will make you remember that, because every time you fail while learning the mechanics, which is very easy to do, you're forced into watching this painfully slow scrolling tutorial text that totally interrupts the gameplay and cannot be skipped. Not a great start, to be honest.
And at the risk of further infuriating Bionicle fans out there, after this part of the game, it gets way better. Yeah, I like this game.
First off, I really like the shielding mechanic where you have to activate it at the correct time to not only avoid damage, but also absorb the enemy's attacks to give yourself more weapon energy that you need to be able to fight in the first place, turning every encounter into a game of knowing when to defend and attack without allowing you to spam attacks constantly. I love the small health bar to make some of the bigger enemies feel like more of a threat that you need to outsmart, and I love how to punish players spamming the attack button. There's a combo system where pressing the button rhythmically at the right times gives you a 3-hit combo that's way more powerful than a standard attack, but only if you have enough weapon energy to perform it in the first place from guarding at the right time. In fact, the more that I look at this, the more it reminds me of Soul Reaver on the PS1. I mean, the platforming is automatically better than something like Zelda since you have to activate the jump yourself, and there are some pretty tense and decent challenges to overcome, even with a double jump, which therefore makes the exploration pretty interesting too. Bionicle the game isn't mindless, unlike this Lego suit. And to top it off, this is one of the best looking original Xbox games I've ever seen. Okay, sure, the characters are literal bricks, so it doesn't matter if they're a little angular, but look at that smooth frame rate and detailed environments. This is impressive for the Xbox. The only reason I stopped playing is because, once again, I don't know anything about Bionicle, so I really don't care. Plus, this walking speed is a little bit annoying, but overall, if you like a little bit of edginess in your Lego game, with motorized lip flaps, Bionicle is the game for you. But for me, the title is starting to look a bit too much like Bicycle.
Speaking of bicycles, that's reminded me of a Lego character that doesn't ride one. Pepperoni? With the skateboard? Lego Island?
I couldn't grab myself a copy of the original Lego Island and get it
what?
working on a new PC in time for this video, but rest assured, I remember the original Lego Island on PC, and I remember spending hours on it, clicking away on our Microsoft Space Helmet, and then we ended up getting Lego Chess, Lego Loco, and Lego Creator, with those incredible Lego spines on the case that you could clunk together. I mean, the cases were made of Lego. They were fun before you even played the game. For being the first ever internationally released Lego game for the masses, however, Lego Island 1 had it all. A giant world to explore that you felt like you were a part of, lots of customization to get your imagination flowing, and horrible, horrible cutscenes.
Let the celebration begin!
Sure, it hasn't aged very well. I mean, it's a little bit chunky, but it is still a harmless and enjoyable little nostalgic trip. Now, can I say the same thing about the sequel on the PS1, Lego Island 2, The Brickster's Revenge? Ages 6 to 99.
Sorry, Grandma.
We start the game off and we're given a loading disc that's also a pizza. This gives me an idea.
There's nothing in here. Aha! Bonjour, everyone! Look, it's your favorite chef that doesn't wash his hands, Sandwich! And after last week's lesson on making a hand sandwich, today we're going to make an Italian classic. First disc, then tomato, and then Charles. Enjoy.
Oh boy, look at this.
No.
We are in for a pricky treat here, aren't we? These are easily the laziest cutscenes I've ever seen. It's just two images flipping back and forth between this guy, the infomaniac, and everyone's favourite dude with the food who has only seemed to deliver pizzas in the 23 years he's existed, Pepperoni. Oh no! Is he bleeding? Our first task of the game is to deliver pizzas across the whole island in exchange for Lego bricks to build a house. Shh, don't tell them that's an awful deal. I'm ripping these suckers off. And what an intro to the residents this mission is, because I don't think I've ever seen such an undeserving bunch of creeps in my life.
What the hell are you doing?
But that's mine!
This guy looks like he's had too many lemons, and this lady here thanks me for the pizza with a headbutt. This doctor over here tells this preteen straight to his face that he looks good, and this guy can't help himself from sucking on my face.
Pepper, cool.
What is wrong with this island?
Here's some bricks.
Oh, and by the way, I don't know how this lighting engine is being handled, but whatever it is, it's terrible.
Pepper, cool.
You know, Pepper loves to make random noises as he walks around. I mean, it does make me uncomfortable, but I do feel sorry for him. Judging by this running animation, I think the noises are medical.
As I gaze out into the endless waters, I think to myself, is Pepper standing behind a fence? Or is Pepper actually the fence?
This place is downright unhinged. I gave this dude a delicious pizza earlier, and then I later find him squatting outside a stranger's house eating the floor. But all of these slightly demented moments in this game aren't enough of a distraction from how dull it is. I've been running around the island for about 20 minutes so far with no clue where I'm going, where to deliver pizzas, or where to find my remaining house bricks. The screen size is way too small for the scale of this island. There's no map feature at all, and by complete accident I ended up talking to a local twice in a row, with the second conversation ending with the guy pointing in the completely wrong direction to where I was standing. Funnily enough though, I thought this was a bug or something, until I unintentionally figured out that every character does this, and it turns out that they're actually just pointing towards where my next objective is. Can't you just point at the same time? I mean, that's all your bloody arms can do, Lego! But do you know what else this means? It means that out of everybody on this entire island, the only person that has absolutely no sodding clue what's going on is your main character, Pepperoni. Our hero, ladies and gents. It wasn't until a total of 30 minutes on the first mission that I then found my final stop, the pizzeria, which was hidden behind a dump load of hills. The only restaurant in town, and you can't even get to it without a degree in mountaineering. Time to go and collect my final brick then. And then, what in the bumbling piss sticks is this thing? Didn't I see you in the movie Signs? So after all of this, I finally get my last brick and go back to my house to finish building it. And then I get a phone call telling me to go back to the pizzeria hidden in the hills that I just came from. Also that I can pick up one last pizza delivery and give it to a criminal currently in prison for nearly destroying the entire island in Lego Island 1? How did he buy it? Why are we allowing him to have it? Is this his last meal on death row? This is the Brickster, and by the way, in the first Lego Island, he escaped jail by using a pizza. So guess what happens here? He escapes jail by using a pizza.
Shut up!
Even worse, everybody just watches him leave, including the police.
Hey!
Yeah, Pepper, you tell him.
After escaping, the Brickster then heads to the center of information, intelligence, and life itself on the entire island, and just strolls inside to steal a book that allows him to summon anything out of thin air. Lego Island doesn't deserve to be saved. At this point, I'm surprised he didn't just summon a meteor. Throughout this entire process, nobody chases him, nobody stops him, nobody even shouts at him. And in fact, after he's got total control, they end up having a nice long chat while he's standing on a roof. Stop him! But no, they won't. So do you know what this logically means? That it's all up to Pepper to catch the Brickster and save the day. You know, not these guys.
Pepper, what are you doing?
My best.
He hasn't even got a body!
So now the island has been taken over by the evil Brickster bots, and I've got to be honest, they do sound pretty scary. What are they gonna do to us? How are we gonna catch them? Once again, we're thrown into a mission where we've got to search around this unnecessarily large island with nothing else going on except for finding a load of coloured Brickster bots to capture, which you can never find because they move around all the time, and the draw distance is so pitiful, you'll never figure out which direction you should be going in order to figure out where they ran off to. And once more, if you're totally lost, you can just ask any other resident on this godforsaken rock to point you in the right direction, meaning that even with the location of criminals, everybody knows what's going on aside from Pepper. This ugly troglodyte who can't even stand up straight is our hero. None of these people who actually know what's going on and could just walk over to the collectibles are doing anything. No, let's leave it up to the kid who has a skateboard that is somehow slower than his run. The kid who can't jump over knee-high fences, but then sometimes he can. The kid who doesn't walk up paths and instead elevates himself up them. The kid who is allowed to pilot a helicopter but can't land it wherever he wants, so what's the point of using it? The kid who gave the main antagonist the keys to get out of his cell and nearly destroy the island all over again. I'm starting to lose it. I'm going to hide away in my beach of madness.
My best.
The only, and I mean the only good thing I can talk about with this game so far is that for a 2001 PS1 title, the analog stick controls are some of the best I've ever used on the system. They're incredibly responsive to pressure, you can run freely in any direction, not just 8, and the camera controls on the right stick wouldn't be out of place in a first-person shooter nowadays. I'm really impressed considering the technology they had to work with. I know it came out earlier, but Quake 2 on PS1 would have worked way better with this setup. So well done, Lego Island 2. You're better than Quake. Anyway, after a literal hour of me doing nothing but walking around aimlessly, I finally get rewarded with a shitty little mini-game where you just press the correct button to knock the Brickster bots back down into Lego Island's central computer.
My best!
Wait, if they're inside this computer and messing it all up, why are we smacking them back in? Aren't we supposed to be pulling them out? Hang on, what's he doing there?
Don't hit me by accident.
Well, why the hell did you crawl in it then? My god, who cares? I've got a boat now, so it's on to a new world, and hopefully there's something more fun to do this time. Ooh, a medieval island. This is pretty cool. I suppose this can only mean that we get access to another slow and boring mini-game of collecting stuff. Oh, wow. Now I have a drunk horse that I can't control anywhere for the life of me. What's wrong with this thing? Do I need to take it out back and shoot it in the head? Oh, look, it's another mini-game. It's jousting, but with button mashing and awkward aiming that doesn't bloody work.
Pepperoni on a pony.
Kill yourself. I am absolutely lost. I can't take it anymore. This game is just as painful as stepping on a loose bit of real Lego.
But I'm wearing a shoe. I mean, can you even call the subtitle of this game The Brickster's Revenge if we let him out of prison ourselves? We let him attack us. Is that even revenge? Honestly, I'm not sure. But I am sure that they were out of their goddamn minds to make a Lego Island 3. At this point, the Lego Island series was like a man with a missing arm, and then in comes strolling Lego Island 3 to save the day, saying, "Hey, don't worry, I can fix that. Just rub a bit of cream on it."
That is exactly what this game is. Lego Island Extreme Stunts is a useless cream on the stump of a man with no arm. You can't save Lego Island's missing arm. The cream won't work. Just give up. Be Pepper, the stuntman hero. Oh yes, because as we all know, Pepper is the master of all stunts. Speaking of, you're gonna spell extreme with an X but not spell stunts with a Z? That's a missed opportunity there. How do you think you'll sell this game to the kids? Right, I'm ready to go. What have you got in store for me, Lego Island 3? Unable to read disc. So I gave the disc a thorough clean, it started working, and this is the first thing that I see.
Amazing!
Oh, well, thank you very much.
So as it turns out, Lego Island 3 is all about Pepper being the stuntman in an upcoming movie being filmed on the island. And that's it, really. And after the beginning with that, epic stunt, we then get thrown into another stunt where we just drive a car and deliberately crash it over and over again. Not sure that's classifiable as a stunt, but if it is, I suppose that means Lindsay Lohan is the greatest stunt driver of all time. Well, hey, howdy, hey, look at that. I got a high score, and my name is... What's upsetting, though, is that after all of that, I don't think I could have done the stunt that well, because everything that I just did wasn't even used in the cut that they filmed. I'm pretty sure that isn't even me. Are they just sick and tired of Pepper and his stupid pun name and want to try killing him while pretending he's going to be in a Hollywood movie? Is this stunt movie just a big convenient cover-up to murder Pepperoni in a horrible accident? I've gotta say, I'm feeling very sorry for him right now.
Whoa!
I've gotta say, I don't feel sorry for him right now. Now, I may have joked earlier about Pepper being a terrible master of stunts, but I'll be damned, he's had a serious upgrade to his movement from Lego Island 2. He can properly skateboard and do tricks whenever he wants, he can double jump stupidly high for some great explorative platforming, and he can even Jesus. For a PS2 game, Extreme Stunts looks pretty good, and much like Bionicle, runs as smooth as butter, making the exploration around the island more enjoyable along with the great controls. This is the best island in the Lego Island series by far, followed by the first one, and the second one didn't happen. Sure, the car physics are a bit shit. Pepper, stop it. But so far, I like this game. I even found myself a skate park to get the hang of the wonky skateboard trick controls, and before you're able to start filming other stunts, you need to get a license to drive, a license to fly, and a license to water. After which, you don't only get to film the said stunts in little mini-games to progress the story, but also get to use the vehicles that you got the license for all around the island anytime you want. As for the lessons themselves, I passed with flying colours. Instead of brute forcing you into a series of lackluster and childish mini-games that you have no choice but to do in the order they make you, like in Lego Island 2, all you do here is explore, find bricks to build different animals around the area, collect trading cards, and do the stunt missions as and when you want to, depending on how many items you've earned from other mini-games, based on helping other locals out with their own problems and doing other stunts. Now, there is a side plot, believe it or not. You aren't just filming a stunt movie, you're also trying to catch the Brickster on camera trying to murder you on the set. Why is he out of prison? Why is he in the director's back pocket? And you'd think that after one miserable slide puzzle that proves definitively that the Brickster is trying to end me, that would be enough proof to lock him back up.
Need more to put that pesky Brickster behind bars.
But no, what are you, stupid?
My desk!
No, you're on Lego Island, where intelligence comes to perish. Out of all of these things though, you want to know why this is the best Lego Island game I played for this video? Because Pepper shuts his gob and doesn't say anything.
My sack is so heavy.
But if all of those stunts were just not enough for you, then don't worry, because you can also take them on the go with Lego Stunt Rally on the Game Boy Color. Now, I've never played a Lego game on Game Boy before, and it's safe to say that I'm bricking it.
Yeah, please.
And welcome to Stunt Rally. I'm Mr. X, the world champion and owner of... Screw this. Let's just jump right into a Grand Prix race and see what this is all about then. I mean, there was a Lego Racers port on Game Boy Color, and it wasn't awful for a Game Boy racing game. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, that's odd. The arrow buttons don't work, but I'm, like, still making all of the turns? It's automatic. The track races itself. Well, then what's the point of it being a competitive racing game? Have you ever played Scalextric before? Or slot cars, as some people call it? You know, you hold a single button down to control the speed and just hope your car doesn't fall off the track and crash horribly. Well, now you get to do that on a flat, low-resolution, low-quality, limited colour and no physical feedback Game Boy Color screen. You go over ramps to do the stunts that the game is named after, but you can't choose the stunts that you do, and it doesn't matter what car you pick. This is hold one button down and hope you don't die the video game. Okay, to be fair, the B button does make you change lanes, but that happens so infrequently there's barely any point talking about it. Oh, and the arrow buttons, and I mean all of the arrow buttons, make your horn go off, and that leaves you with some of the most beautiful sounds a video game has to offer you, just like... Sure, you can build your own tracks, but with heart-stopping single-button gameplay in 2 different locations like this, why bother?
I think this is the only racing game I've ever played that needs no hands.
What the?
Oh no.
And even though the gameplay amounts to just holding the A button down, it still somehow manages to not work properly. There are so many corners where it's impossible to slow down in time because of a ramp you need to speed over. Corners that allow you to go fast across, no problem. And other corners that don't allow you to go fast across. Corners you can't see coming. Corners that are too tight. Corners that aren't tight at all. This is sickening. What else can I say?
Yeah.
Everything you see here, this is the whole game, and it's one of the worst I've ever played. I've arranged seating plans for dinner parties more fun than this, and that's quite amazing because I've never arranged a seating plan for a dinner party before. And aside from designing your own tracks, that's the only Lego-themed aspect of this Lego game. You don't build racers, cars, the areas don't look like Lego, there's nothing Lego in this game. The only thing similar to Lego here is that after I'm done with it, I'm going to put it in a big box and forget about it for 15 years.
And speaking of forgetting about something for 15 years, I'm not even kidding when I tell you that the last time I played Lego Racers 2 was about 15 years ago. Sure, I remember loving this game as a kid. I put hours into it. But this advanced PS2 sequel, I haven't touched since then. And I've replayed the original LEGO Racers loads of times. That's not a good sign, is it?
Ever since I made my LEGO Racers 1 video back in 2012, I had so many of my viewers from back then desperately ask me to play LEGO Racers 2. And so I'm honouring that request right now, 8 years later. So if you were 90 years old and were asking me to cover this game back then, I'm sorry that I'm talking about it now that you're dead. The game opens up with a cinematic showing us Rocket Racer, the big main final boss of the first game, trying to deal with his humiliating defeat against us at the end of that game. He hears about a galaxy-wide championship, jumps back in his car, goes through a portal, and picks up a load of these weird, tiny little LEGO Racers characters, which I remember having a few of when I was a kid. And after all of that, that somehow means he's the best racer of all time again, and we need to beat him again. Okay, what is my name this time? Hello, I'm Carp. It's time for us to build a character again, and unfortunately, we have a lot less pieces to choose from compared to the first game, but that doesn't mean I still can't pick the worst choices from every category, and I hereby dub this creation Pneumonia Naked. Time for us to build a car, and luckily, I've learnt more than enough from my car building in LEGO Racers 1, so this time I can make this car the best it can possibly be. The beginning of the gameplay itself starts off pretty quaint as you're plonked onto a little island and are challenged with racing all of the local workforce, wasting all of the taxpayers' money with racing tournaments and spending the rest on diggers that can drive at 90 miles an hour. Also, yeah, sorry about these weird black lines on the screen during the cutscenes here, but this is because I'm fast forwarding them manually during the gameplay since you can't skip them, even though I really wish you could, because boy do they drag on and on, even when you speed them up. Plus, speeding up everything leads to scenes like this. Am I about to be sacrificed? Target 1, a construction worker, and this is a pretty easy race, but then again, if you're in a racing game and lose to a digger, you shouldn't be playing it. Target 2, the postman, who boasts that he knows the island inside out better than anybody, but that doesn't matter because we have to go through specified checkpoints that we are given arrows that point towards them, so all of that knowledge means nothing. Target 3, the fireman, who... Target 4, the policeman. And to be honest, Mr. Copper, if you can't keep up with somebody that's driving a car with no way to look out the front of it, you shouldn't be a policeman. After you've done all of these races, you're then whisked off to the first world of the game, where you then get your standard 6-player races until you reach a boss racer at the end. Similar to how LEGO Racers 1 handled it, but with just every race being individual instead of one after the other in a single Grand Prix. This isn't all you get to do though. You see, LEGO Racers 2 pushes the PS2 hardware to overdrive, since there are no race selection menus to navigate. All the race choosing and world traveling is done within an open world, much like in Lego Island. Within these worlds aren't just the races, but also secret golden bricks to find that unlock more worlds later on, hidden mission... tornadoes that give you a minigame to complete for an upgrade to your car's speed, grip, or shield, and many other secrets and surprises. But the cost of this is the fact that the game itself couldn't seem to fit any other original racetracks onto the disc alongside these worlds, and so everything you do in each world takes place in exactly the same location. And that's not all. Every single hub world uses the same song, every single minigame uses the same song, and every single race only uses one song per world. Not to mention they're all taking place on the same island and all feel exactly the same to race on. The only major thing that changes in the races is the weather, but Christ almighty, if you're gonna tell me that changing the colour of the sky constitutes a totally new and original racetrack, then I suppose you won't mind taking a sip of my new yellow water.
It's fresh, it's healthy, and it's definitely not weird.
From world to world, it's all the same story. You explore and race around exactly the same locations, along the same routes, with repeated music over and over again, meaning that despite the game featuring 5 worlds with 4 to 5 races each in them, in actuality it feels more like 5 races in total in the entire game, because each race in every world feels exactly the same.
Unless of course you count the final race against Rocket Racer, but that track is just one big circle, so it's a big load of piss.
This issue is then compounded with the removal of the unique, clever, and very LEGO-oriented brick stacking power-up system from LEGO Racers 1, instead opting for just a small handful of power-ups that barely have any impact, aren't very imaginative, and have no strategic angle to grabbing and using them.
So, in essence, LEGO Racers 2 is weaker than the first game in practically every way, except visually. And even then, for a PS2 game, it still doesn't have 4-player co-op. There's no defense for that, because the first one should have had it in the first place. What is this game's problem? Well, at least it has some glitches.
Actually, I say the game looks better, but that's a lie most of the time too, because when there's more than 2 cars on the same screen, the game itself sucks its own farts and leaves the building. Something that is maybe even more terrible than the performance of the game, though, is the performance of your wheels. The grip your car has against any terrain, whether it's dry as a bone or wet as a tongue, is absolutely horrendous. What is this game? LEGO Racers 2? much grease. And with how brutal the other races are on the tracks, any single mistake on a race often means you've lost immediately and just need to restart. That being said, I do like a few things in this sequel. Firstly, in keeping true to its LEGO roots, whenever you get hit by a weapon or drive too fast into a corner, you lose a few specific bricks from your car that you built. And whenever you drive through a rebuild gateway, all of your car-specific bricks that you lost are magically clicked back onto your car, meaning that for any car you make, you get unique rebuilding animations and unique destruction animations during the race that leaves your own car in different stages of destruction based on the bricks that you used yourself. I know I'm over-explaining it, but there's not much else going on in this game, so I'm trying to make it sound exciting.
Oh, you can also give yourself a tiny little boost if you accidentally knock your own bricks off. It's not very impressive.
Watch out, me thong's out! Oh, and if you end up damaging yourself too much, your entire car can be destroyed until you find the next rebuilding gate, meaning that you then have to race while running around as a little minifigure. You can't use any power-ups and you're really slow, so this isn't a good thing, but how cool is this for a game about breakable Lego cars racing each other? In conclusion, though, this game is a pretty piss-poor sequel in my opinion. It's got some great ideas and good scope, but it's way too samey, way too monotonous, and look at this, kids aren't going to be able to stomach this. They're gonna want to put the game away and go straight back to their Lego Elsas and Lego Bananas. I mean, even the building kind of sucks. Look at it. Instead of being based on what bricks you can fit on what part of the car, here, it doesn't matter because you're stuck with a limited number of bricks to use at all times. It's probably because of the destruction system, but what kind of bric-a-brac is that? Everybody knows that the more bricks you can mount together, the better it feels.
We're connected.
Does anybody here remember Lego Knights Kingdom? They were like Bionicles, but nobody bought them. So they made a game about them instead for the Game Boy Advance. What a thrilling history. So what are we waiting for, Lego? Let's go! Now, what language do I pick? English, or the ones who lost? The story mode appears to have 9 missions until you get to the end of the game. Okay, good stuff. And the first mission has your knight being mentored by a master in the ways of honor and combat by pressing a load of switches in a single room. Just like a true knight. So yeah, obviously this first mission is a tutorial, and it teaches you how to swing your sword, how to fire lightning from your sword, and ends with a mini-boss against the definitely not evil-sounding Lord Vladek, who's dressed in definitely not evil red and black, telling us how he's definitely not gonna hurt us, and that we'll need our skills in days to come, while the other knights talk about how he's definitely the king's most loyal and legendary knight. So 10 seconds later, he captures the king and seizes the throne.
What? I didn't see that coming!
Lego Knights Kingdom is basically just one big top-down Zelda dungeon, except it has no interesting puzzles, a projectile attack that's so sluggish you can never use it without getting hit, sword combat which amounts to... that, and movement that's as slow as a bloody milk float. It takes you eons to get anywhere. Pro tip, if your game is only 9 missions long, this is not how you make it longer. And after all of this lumpy combat while I run around like a lumpy skeleton in lumpy boots, I'm then rewarded with a new character who moves even slower. Look at this miserable tub of fish. This game is full of so much crap, I could paint the walls with it. If you can't tell, I am not playing Knights Kingdom anymore. And not just because of how slow it is, but because I also refuse to play a game that uses the password.
Well, that was enough of that. So why don't we play Lego Soccer Mania on the PS2?
Well, in this country, it's actually Lego Football Mania. But to be honest, that makes more sense to me anyway, because in football, you hit the ball with your foot. Woof, amazing, right? Soccer? Why do Americans call it that? Is it because you have to wear socks? I suppose you don't even call this basketball. I bet you call it... Spankle. Now, since I couldn't care any less about football, I don't care enough to think of a clever name, so I'm ooh! And amazingly enough, this game has a story mode. Didn't see that one coming, but I'm all over it. Wait, is that pepperoni with a stubble? Ah, right, okay, gotta pick my team now and all of my main characters. Gotcha. Harry Flash. Well, he's certainly flashing something, but it's not for ages 6 to 99. I think my main character will be Nigel Nutmeg, because that is the greatest name of all time, and my team name will be... Oh! Do you know how long it takes for this game to load one match? I'll tell you. 54 seconds. I know that doesn't sound like much, but the longest loading times in Wrath of Cortex take you around 30 seconds. So imagine sitting through this twice, and then instead of getting a decent platforming stage waiting for you, it's this instead. Yeah, compared to some of the PS1 games we've looked at, this doesn't look so hot, especially for a generation jump up. This game looks like it smells of cheese. I look at all of this and I swear I can taste deodorant on top of BO.
Which might be negative past association with school locker rooms after we were forced to play football.
But still, the game looks like melting plastic cheese that was left on the side for 3 years. I feel sticky just being near it and I want to cry. We start the game itself with a good old kickoff and, well, it's football, alright. Maybe it's because I know nothing about football and really couldn't care less, but this seems pretty lacking to me. You can pass, you can shoot, you can tackle, you can switch positions. It's functional, but drab as hell. Look at the cheeseman go. Very slowly. It's not made any better either by the stock music and absolutely zero transitions or sound effects for when special events happen. Or even when you use power-ups. Oh yeah, this game has power-ups. You can bomb your teammates whenever you want, and the best thing is that you won't get a strike for it. Wait, that's not football, is it? Look, I know so little about this sport that after half-time happened, I didn't realise we swapped goals around, and I was confused why nobody was trying to stop me as I darted towards my own goalie. He was just as confused as I was. But even as someone with the most minimal knowledge available about football, I still managed to win a match 4-0, so that's the level of basic we're talking about with this game. Overall, Lego Football Mania is just like real football, except without a sweaty fat man spitting in your drink.
Okay, so, does anybody here remember Lego Drome Racers? Yeah, not drone, drome. I don't remember these sets at all, and I'm not surprised why. Drome Racers is the worst name for a thing I've ever heard in my life. Drome rhymes with gnome, man. I don't want to race with one of them.
So what better thing to make a game about? I've got Drome Racers on the GameCube, and bizarrely enough, this version of the game was released 1 year after every other version, meaning nobody bothered to buy it, meaning it's one of the rarer GameCube games I actually own. But the question is, if you could get your hands on a cheap copy, would you even want to? We start the game off and select Korea, because building Lego is my job now.
In the year 2015, they got everything wrong.
We follow the camera into the roof of a glass building, and then... yeah! Let's say hello to my lovely little crew then. We've got Chicane, Rocket, Slot, and... wait, his name is Slot. Slot. Shouldn't that be her name? In fact, if you put all of these names together, you get Chicane Slot Rocket, and that sounds like somebody from a brothel. I don't know what any of this means, but all I do know is that I want to get away from her face as quickly as possible. And what is going on with your hips? Did somebody stick a seesaw in there? Okay, so we've got some qualifiers to get through before any proper races. That's fine with me. I'm ready to go. Give me your best shot, everybody. Get ready to eat my duck.
Whoa, what the...
Lego is flammable!
Okay, so because I blew up in 3 seconds, I'm not allowed to do any other qualifiers, which is fair, but instead of booting me back to the menu and giving me a chance to do it again, the game is forcing me to watch every other race's qualifiers, which I can just skip anyway if I want to. What's the point of any of this? I have no idea, because I passed the qualifiers anyway, and I'm back in the normal races. Thanks for wasting my time, fish woman, and your waist that moves around like clay on a pottery wheel. Well, yeah, this is Drome Racers, and I think it's one of the most mediocre racing games I've ever played. Not good, and not bad either, except for the fact that you turn left and right a bit like lard. The tracks are all pretty straightforward and forgettable with barely any tricky turns, the physics aren't anything to ride home about, and the shortcuts are probably the most pathetic I've ever seen. Not only are they shown on the map, but they're also just right there in front of you and amount to nothing but, ooh, you don't want to take that left turn, this right turn is where it's at.
There's some good shit down there!
You know, I think I figured out why they're called Drome Racers. Because these races drone on and on and on and on and... I mean, when you select a race, look at the level of anticipation and excitement dripping from you and your friends around you. This is what the whole game feels like, an uninterested garage. The most exciting thing that happened to me in the whole game was here when I got briefly pulled back by a gust of wind, then I carried on. Not to mention, there's barely anything Lego about anything that you're seeing here, aside from these power-up bricks that rebuild your shields during the race, and a car building feature which I never unlocked, which is just downright cruel for a Lego game to lock out at the start. Okay, fair enough. I suppose this guy's face looks like it was made out of Lego, but that's beside the point. For a Lego-branded game, you'd never guess that was the case at first glance. This is soulless. This is exactly what happens when you try to make a gritty and serious grown-up racer for a demographic that likes Thomas the Tankin Dankin.
Ow, baby!
There's no personality here, no energy, no eye-catching visuals, no unique features, no memorable tracks, no cheesy cutscenes. It's Lego racers for the clinically depressed. There isn't even any mentally deranged music that sounds like... And once you finish some of the most tedious races of all time, you go back to your team hoping they'd be happy to see you, and then...
What?
Well, fine, screw you, lady. I'm going for a boss race.
And Etc. has chosen the Battery. That's the canyon off-road track with a tornado in it. This track suits the way he races, so get with it.
Oh yeah? Is that why he got attacked by a tornado on lap 1 and then lost 16 seconds behind me?
What the Caddy?
Lego Alpha Team.
Hey, it's another Lego Game Boy Color game. This is gonna end well, isn't it? So we are Lego secret agents, and we need to stop the evil Ogle. Very clever. But even though we are the ultimate alpha bros and alpha broettes, how are we going to stop him? By standing still and doing nothing while God himself picks up and places arrows on the floor for you to follow. If the alpha agents can't carry on walking in a straight line, they give up. No second way about it. There's no other plan here. They just stop walking and let the world get taken over. These are the worst secret agents I think I've ever seen. All you do in this rip-roaring adventure is plot a path and watch someone walk along it. That's it, that's the whole game. Have fun, kids. And just look at how deplorable this secret agent is. Not only does he completely give up at the sight of a wall because he doesn't have an arrow to follow, but even when he wins, he couldn't care less.
Wow.
Oh, and when you reach the exits of each level, make sure you enter them from the bottom, or else you'll just stand there and jump around like you have fire ants in your pants. This is all just completely pathetic. Look at the depth perception here. As in, there is no depth perception. I can't even figure out where to place stairs and arrows pointing towards them because height doesn't exist in this game. And you can't make mistakes because the dude can't even jump down a 2-foot ledge.
Oh no, I don't know where to go.
You can't move the god arrow around any faster on each level, which becomes a massive pain when they start getting bigger. And the soundtrack is just one song over and over again that isn't very good for your brain while you're trying to solve the very difficult puzzle of which direction do I make me go. This is like playing Legoland on the PC, but there's no theme park, and the only thing you're allowed to use is an arrow. My theme parks are the best. You know those Lego bricks that nobody likes? Yeah, you know the one. Yeah, those bastards. Everybody hates them and never uses them. Well, this game is exactly like that. A useless and unwanted Lego brick. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna run away and bomb my comrade. Hi there, chum. What you playing?
Rock Band.
Oh, that sounds fun. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's like I'm actually playing a real guitar.
Oh, well then you'll love this. It's Lego Rock Band on the DS, and it doesn't use any instrument controllers at all.
Why?
So, first of all, why is this a Lego game? Like, what does Lego have to do with playing songs correctly? All of the other Rock Band games have customization already, so the whole building blocks angle makes no sense. And again, there's no peripherals, which is the entire point of Rock Band as a game. I mean, even Guitar Hero on the DS had a peripheral. Why does this exist? And for the love of all that is holy, what is with this logo on the home screen? What is that supposed to be? A hairy mango? Well, if you know me, at this point, I don't bother questioning things I don't understand. I just scream at them instead. But at the very least, this intro cutscene is kind of exciting. Don't get me wrong, it's as pixelated as my chest, but it's still relatively action-packed. Problem is, the music is copyrighted, so I can't use a massive chunk of it, but here's a small clip for you.
Okay, well, since there's no instruments... in Rock Band, I guess I'm gonna have to check the tutorial.
Here we go, how to play notes. Yeah, I'm ready for... Whoa! Jesus! How to play notes. More like how to run away as fast as possible. What's up with this dude? And why does his mouth look like a post box? What do you think he's hiding in there? Oh, okay, I get it. So we don't hold any buttons and strum with the touchscreen or anything. We just press the DS face buttons at the correct time. This is basically like playing DDR with a controller. except you have Slotface here pointing at his junk. And when you're doing well in a song, your band members become very happy. And if that's what I look like when I'm doing well, I'd hate to see me if I fail. Time for me to name my band, and whenever I play any of these kinds of rhythm games that have a band in them, I only have one name that I always use: Pantseep. So much like other Rock Band games, you're able to customize yourself at the start if you want, but you don't have much money to do anything at all, so I just made it easy for myself and decided to make everybody bold. If you've played a Rock Band game before, or hell, any button-based rhythm game before, you should get along with this one no problem. And as far as taking this kind of formula portably goes, Lego Rock Band could do a lot worse, but I'm not taking this anywhere with me. I'm sitting on a chair in my underwear and I just want to play real Rock Band instead. Plus, in order to make this version of the console classic stand out, I guess, they added this new mechanic in called swapping, where during the song you actually need to constantly switch between guitars, bass, drums and vocals to keep their individual scores high enough to get a big enough score in total to win the song. But you can only do this at a specific time. If you get enough points on one instrument, a purple note appears. Hit this, and the next few notes for all of your instruments become invisible and automatically hit themselves for about 2 seconds, giving you enough time to switch to a new instrument and begin the process again without messing up your streak. It sounds interesting, but what usually ends up happening is that you switch to the next available instrument that just so happens to be doing nothing, meaning you're getting no extra points, and then if you decide to switch to another instrument at that point, you'll switch mid-note for another instrument and will definitely lose your combo score. Basically, it's stupid, and your Lego heads love to wet themselves. And speaking of that, there are a piddling number of songs to play within this game as well. But I suppose any music game that has kung fu fighting in it is at least trying. And then all of a sudden, Blur appear. No, I mean actual Blur. The band Blur in Lego form. It's Lego Blur, which I honestly thought would look a bit more like this. And you know what the best part is? After I completely nailed Song 2, the entire band looked totally miserable and just as excited to be playing Lego Rock Band as I am. Well, except for him.
Hey! Okay, I think I'm just about done with Lego games based off of existing franchises, so why don't I close this video off by taking a look at the most recent Lego game that I own, based off of entirely original ideas and entirely original Lego sets.
This is Lego City Undercover, originally released on the Wii U in 2013, but then available on Steam, PS4 and everything else in 2017. I'm Frank, honey. Don't you dare call me that, we've only just met.
I will wait for you inside.
Okay, now you're making my stomach turn inside out. From the get-go, it's obvious that this game has a heavy tongue-in-cheek sense of humour, and I can dig that. Not every single line hits.
At that age, he would have still been in preschool.
Elementary, my dear fellow.
But there are way more gags that do hit, and when the game wants to be funny with visual comedy, it can get pretty damn funny. A couple of silly one-liners later, and we get ourselves set up for what looks to be like a GTA-styled Lego adventure. And for as dumb as that sounds, especially after Lego Rock Band, it's true. This is Lego GTA, except now you're a cop and can get away with citywide genocide without any consequences.
Even though there's a crime in progress, we still have to drive responsibly.
Of course.
You never get into any trouble, it's amazing. Steal any car you want, disrupt any emergency services you want, attack anyone in the public sector as much as you want, drive up any pavements you want, shove aside any civilian you want, and if you're feeling a little bit frisky, you can completely obliterate any and all public services. No toilets for you today! Nobody cares, because you're a cop, and even better, you're rewarded with building bricks for special quest items every time you do destroy something. So there's a gameplay benefit to ruining people's lives too.
Are my children's building bricks doing socio-political commentary?
Oh my god, check this out. As your vehicle gets damaged, it actually begins to lose all of its bricks until it's just an engine with wheels. This alone is worth a purchase of Lego City Undercover. And you're allowed to get away with all of this unbridled mayhem for the greater good of catching a super dangerous criminal who has done less damage to this city in his entire life than I think I just did in the last 5 minutes. I love this game.
You think you can help Chase do that for me, honey? Good boy.
Did Lego invent simping?
Don't worry though, breaking apart the city isn't the only thing you get to do. You are still a super cop detective, so alongside the huge exploration element that I actually genuinely love here, with all the driving, platforming, item hunting and environmental smashing, there are also plenty of puzzles to solve for bonuses and upgrades, and a smattering of crimes to solve with all of your detective gadgets, from footprint scanners to grappling hooks. Kick ass! There are some car chases through the city that lead to on-foot chases and arrests, there's rooftop free running and grapple swinging above the skyline. You even have a button to get your whistle out in order to stop any car you want in order to hijack them. You have a whistle. Can you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle, baby. Let me.
Well, that was mostly awful, wasn't it? There were some gems in there, don't get me wrong, but as a whole, I think many of the LEGO games of the past weren't that focused on gameplay quality and instead wanted to give parents a more budgeted option to let their kids experience the world of LEGO. Because let's be real, little orphan Timmy isn't getting that for Christmas.
What's this? I hear you cry.
You've forgotten the best LEGO game ever made, even.
Okay, fine. I can't make a video about LEGO games without talking about LEGO Star Wars.
Yeah.
The only time I can call something with Jar Jar Binks in it good. I won't go into too much detail because I have to wrap this video up, but the amount of time I spent playing these two games on the original Xbox is medically concerning. If you've ever played any modern LEGO game based on a movie series before, LEGO Star Wars and LEGO Star Wars 2 were the impetus for that gameplay style. They were the first, and in my opinion, it was never done any better. Kick some brick in 1 through 6. Back then, being able to go through some of my favourite childhood movies in a silly platforming adventure with lightsabers, blasters, and force powers was enough, but it was made even more enjoyable with all the giant levels, dozens of collectibles to unlock cheats and bonuses, endless replayability, LEGO building, puzzle solving, incalculable destruction, and hundreds of characters to play with their own unique abilities, even giving you the choice to build your own characters with their own abilities and weapons. When these games first came out, you had to get 2 separate games for the full experience, but now you're able to enjoy it all on the complete saga for the PS3 and Xbox 360, which is not only these 2 fantastic games in one, but gives you even more on top of that. But wait, that's not all!
There's more?
Because very soon from the time this video goes live, there's going to be a LEGO Star Wars Skywalker Saga game for current consoles and Steam, allowing you to play through every single Star Wars movie in one package, and I can't wait for that one. I also have LEGO Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars.
If you're wondering what my opinion is on LEGO Indiana Jones, LEGO Harry Potter, LEGO Jurassic World, I'll tell you. I played them all for about 2 hours total and gave up, because as far as I'm concerned, they're exactly the same game, copy-pasted, as LEGO Star Wars, but just not as good. With exception maybe to LEGO Incredibles. That was a good one. And when it comes to LEGO Dimensions, I'm sorry, but talk about snooze fest. Whenever I got an extra set for the game, I felt like I was paying more money to be bored. Either way, America... I've always wondered, why the hell do you call them Legos? Where, anywhere, does it say Legos? Lego is the collective term, it's plural. And why do you say it so weird? Legos? I mean, come on! Are
you okay?
No! Call an ambulance!
Why? What's wrong?
I hurt my leg!
Subscribe and hit that bell.
Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, because my shirt has been off for most of this video, so god damn it, I deserve it!
Special thank you to all of my top tier Patreon supporters in the description below.
Yeah, I mean, all those games sound great and all, but I think I'd rather just stick to what I did as a kid, which is just play with the freaking Lego bricks, whatever. Anyway. Yeah, some of those games do look like fun. Some of them. Not all of them. Anyway, that's my reaction to The Painful World of Lego Games by Caddicarus. See ya on the next one. Bye.